I want to see if this brand new Dell XPS 15 with the 13th generation Intel Core i7 and an RTX 4070, and I want to see how it does against this Asus Ryzen 9. It's got an RTX 3070 in it, and I've been using it for my machine learning tasks. I'll also throw in my M2 Max MacBook Pro into the mix. This machine is my daily driver, and it does not have an RTX card in it, but I have high hopes that it might do well against some of the tasks I'm going to throw at it today. We'll do some single core tests, some multi-core tests, and a machine learning inference test. In that last one, I'm pretty sure the crown will go to the RTX 4070, but I don't know. Let's see. One is a really basic softball called TimSort. It's a sorting algorithm done in Python, and we're going to use Numpy and TimSort done manually in Python. You'll see the difference between a compiled piece of code. Numpy, I believe, is written in C, so it's going to be really fast, and TimSort is going to be, well, considerably slower. But we're comparing all three of these machines against each other. Not really how quickly C sorts something versus Python. We know that C is going to be much faster, but still interesting to watch. And for those of you folks that are familiar with the channel, we use something called the Schwarzenegger 2.0 to execute all these tests at the same time, because when I tap that big red button right there, the little fingers go down on the enter keys all simultaneously. And let's go. Here we go. Numpy is already done. No surprise there. It's really fast. And Dell XPS is actually the fastest. Numpy is the one that's written in C, by the way. Now we're just waiting for the Python version to finish. And for those of you that are interested, this is a sorting algorithm, so it's using one core. So we're comparing a single core operation right now between all these three machines. A single Apple Silicon core versus an Intel core versus a Ryzen core. Well. Here are the results. On the MacBook Pro with the M2 Max chip, Numpy finished in 1.08 seconds and TimSort finished in 21.9 seconds. Okay. On the old Asus machine, Numpy finished faster, 0.97, and TimSort, ooh, pretty bad, 39.99 seconds here. And finally, the new machine, the Dell XPS, really fast Numpy score, 0.8298 seconds for Numpy, and TimSort also the fastest time, 19.73. We're gonna switch gears now, and you might recognize this test. It's the Mandelbrot test. Mandelbrot is a test that uses all the cores to their maximum capacity and just completely saturates it. Mandelbrot was a mathematician that created the fractals pattern. This algorithm is based on his work. We're gonna use the time command here, and it is another Python algorithm. Looks like we're ready, and let's go. Here we go. This one takes a little bit of time to execute. Oh, I'm starting to hear some sounds. Oh yeah. Both of the PC laptops really spinning up here, but especially that Asus. The Intel one, not so much. Okay, first iteration is done. Well, this is pretty interesting. The slowest machine was that Asus Ryzen 9 machine. Don't blame it, okay? It's an older generation. It's about 2 years old now, so it's not the latest and greatest. 33.95 seconds to do that one. Now, here is the interesting thing. The new Intel machine, 13th generation Intel Core i7, ran this in 26.025 seconds, which is slower than the M2 Max. That one finished in 24.46 seconds. This time, I'm gonna unplug the two PCs to see how they do. And let's go. So while this test is running, let's check the temperatures. The Pro is at 31 degrees Celsius, nice and cool. This one is at 40 degrees Celsius, and the Asus is at 36. So yeah, that Core i7 13th gen is getting a little bit hotter than the other machines. And we do have a degradation in performance because they are unplugged. We've got pretty much the exact same time on the MacBook Pro, 24.36 seconds there. On the Asus, 36.07 seconds, and on the XPS, 27.8 seconds. Not a huge degradation though, so not bad. But there's one more thing that I'd like to test. Those of you with a keen eye might have noticed that I was running my test on the XPS 15 inside WSL. WSL is Linux inside Windows, even though the performance is actually really good. But I also want to run this directly on Linux. So I've installed Linux side by side in a dual boot situation on this XPS 15. I have a video showing how to do that. I'll link to that down below, right below the like button. All right, first test. I'm gonna be recording this. This is the PySort. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, we're sorting 10 million integers. Numpy finished in 1.05 seconds. That's odd. That's actually not too much faster than the 1.08 0.08 we got on the MacBook Pro, and 22.75 seconds for the TimSort. That's slower than the MacBook Pro, and that's kind of surprising to me. It's actually slower on Linux running on bare metal than in WSL inside Windows. That got me thinking, what if the Linux performance mode is not set to, well, performance? Let's set that to performance and see what happens. Ah, there we go. There's that difference. Numpy finished in 0.81 seconds, which is faster than the M2 Max MacBook Pro, and 18 seconds is the fastest time we've seen so far for TimSort. Now let's do the Mandelbrot test. Here we go. This is the one that I'm really looking forward to seeing some big numbers on. Small numbers, not big numbers. The number to beat is 24 seconds. We don't get there. 28.25 seconds. So it does not beat the M2 Max MacBook Pro, even though it is considerably better than the Asus. And for the last test, I'm gonna run OpenAI's Whisper. What it does is just take in some audio and analyze it using machine learning inference and spit out the text that's in the audio. It transcribes it. I actually have a very detailed video on how to set that up on your machine, so you can check that out. I'll link to it right down below. So I'm not gonna go through all that today. I'm just gonna run it. And this time Schwarzenegger is gonna sit out because this is gonna be pretty quick. All right, let's do this.
Hasta la vista, M2.
Okay, wow. Well, the RTX 4070 is significantly faster, a lot faster than the 3070. I didn't need to tell you that. You can guess that. You don't need a rocket science degree in order to figure that out. But here's the final number. The Asus Ryzen 9 machine with the 3070 gave me a time of 8.19 seconds, and the XPS 15 with the RTX 4070 gave me 6.66 seconds. Actually 6.661 seconds for any of you that are superstitious about numbers. All right. And finally, I kind of knew this was going to happen, but what are you going to do? The M2 Max, the latest processor, well, the M2 Ultra is the latest processor, but the M2 Max is pretty good. That one got 17.18 seconds, so a lot slower than even the old machine that's 2 years old with an RTX processor in it. So yeah, machine learning tasks that can utilize CUDA on the RTX boards are going to be significantly faster on those machines that have the Nvidia cards. Now there is a C++ version of Whisper model, not the Python version of Whisper. If you want to see a video about that, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be curious to see, in that case, who would win here. So hopefully this video was entertaining or informational or both. Hopefully both. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and give it the old thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll be back.